Was there a sign person? Do we have a person with signs?
It's like
here?
70.
That wouldn't help us anyways.
That may not help either.
No, it
But
wouldn't
that's
help
what
us,
16 with the back here. Yeah, that could be the 70s. But it has to do with like situations. Yeah,
We got that. That's working.
that sort of thing. Get this over easily. And that's coming through somewhere.
That's working.
Right?
Maybe you can give us a test run.
We need a mic test, yeah.
Can you hear us?
Oh,
We can't hear you.
Volume
Still.
up.
I'll call him on my phone and do speaker once we get there.
let's get that going then.
Can you hear us just fine? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, once we get to the extractive industrial topic, I'm going to give you a call on my cell phone, and we'll just put you on speaker. We can use the video, but we'll do audio through phone.
Yeah, take those microphones to them, Ross. Just that we don't have to come over here with your phone. And yeah, that will be coming up pretty quick though. All right. Well, other than that,
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
yeah, it's time to go. All right, we're going to call the meeting to order. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the agenda. Ross, any changes?
So we do not have any meeting minutes, unfortunately. We were unable to get those done in time, number of delays. So that's the only change that I have, is those will need to be deferred.
Okay, we'll strike the minutes. Approval of the minutes. Beyond that, anything else? I'll move to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll support.
We have support, motion support to approve the minutes as amended. All in favor?
Agenda.
Agenda.
I mean agenda. I'm
Agenda.
sorry. I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, then we go right into call to the public. We have, just so everyone knows who hasn't been here before, there's a 3-minute time to speak. If you have anything you want to bring up that pertains to the agenda, bring that up now. If there's something that doesn't pertain to the agenda, you can bring that up after the meeting, at the end of the meeting. Anyone? Wow. All right, then we're back into old business, Ross.
So, old business, let me give Mr. Fisher a call here.
Hello,
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
All right, we're gonna try to make this work then.
Great. Uh-oh.
Mute.
Can everyone hear?
Wait a second. Mute him over there.
Mute. Here.
No.
Mute us?
Mute him over on the
My
screen.
speaker should be loud enough.
speakers are.
Yeah.
Steve's one there.
You gotta hold it down.
Hold it down. Okay, I'll hold it down.
Ross, maybe just take the microphone and the speaker.
That's good. That work?
Yeah, there you
Try
go.
that. Try that.
All right.
Mr. Fisher, can we do another voice check, please?
Yes.
That works.
That works.
Wow, awesome.
Good.
Great. Okay, then we have got it figured out. So Ross, why don't you go ahead with where we're at with this, I guess. Or what's the,
So we received 2 new draft documents from Mr. Fisher. I'll let him take the lead on it.
Okay. Two documents. One is a further amendment of the zoning ordinance, namely Article 17. Concrete crushing, as you all know, is not an unlawful use. It's a legitimate use, and so it can't be excluded. So we need to provide for it in some way. It had been a special land use under Article 19, but I thought it would be necessary to remove it from 19 because of what the Michigan legislature did to gravel mining. And in other words, the legislature created a completely separate and unique standard of review for gravel mining. So that would not be, it would not be necessary to apply that very favorable review to the property owner as far as concrete crushing was concerned. So I made it a special land use, but only in the M2 heavy industrial district. But I think that is satisfactory, so that concrete crushing, if you choose to adopt this Article 17 amendment, would only be permitted in the M2 district. And that's what this amendment would essentially do. And I, you know, in order to have concrete crushing incidental to gravel mining, the applicant has to make like an application. It has to be in the M2 district, and then the applicant would have to make an application for both uses, essentially. And I cover that a little bit in the regulatory ordinance amendment. Any questions about that one?
Yeah, I have one question. So in the previous ordinance, 19, it only allowed the concrete crushing in conjunction with a mining operation. Is that the same? Will that be the same?
Actually, here, it would only be in the M2 district, but somebody could apply for this as a special land use. Now, we could specify that it would only be permitted as part of a gravel mining operation, if you'd like. And that's totally up to you.
I mean, that's how we had it before.
But as long as it's in it, but it's only allowed in M2.
That's right.
So if they have an extractive mining operation that's not an M2, they cannot have an ancillary crushing operation in
That's
that
correct.
facility.
That's right.
Yes, it seemed like,
Ross, are the current gravel extraction mining operations in M2? I don't think they
No,
are.
they're in EI, the zoning district, I believe, when we previously discussed, they are going to be grandfathered in. Under.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Do you have something, Rich?
No, I just thinking along the lines of what John's
So
saying.
now-
You could have a crushing operation.
Separate crushing
here,
operation.
and you'd be hauling
you'd be
trucks
hauling
in
back and forth.
Yeah.
without an extractive operation.
If you
The way our ordinance is now, right?
Yeah.
Well, this draft.
This draft, yeah. So it'd be, yeah, it could allow for that. So maybe,
Yeah.
maybe we restrict it to only similar
Yeah,
to
'cause
the
you
current
don't want
zoning
somebody to
ordinance.
just start crushing concrete in their backyard.
Well, they'd have to be an M2,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't be their backyard, but it still could.
Right.
I don't know what, there's that other, by Fawcett Road, there's that, I don't know what the zoning is there, but,
Yeah,
something that got an M2 zoning could just start crushing without the
Right.
extraction.
right. And that,
Yeah, but they have to apply for a special land use and meet all the requirements of the special land use section.
In addition,
Article 22.
right, in addition to being an M2.
Yes.
right. And then the current operations are grandfathered because
Yeah.
they're already there.
Operation, singular.
How about Ben?
Yeah. I guess if it's linked, like ours is today, what's the harm in that? If someone wanted to do a crushing operation standalone, they'd have to apply for a special land use anyway.
Right now, they couldn't while we're under moratorium, and we
Yeah.
don't have a specific standalone special land use for concrete crushing, so they couldn't at this time. The only way is if they were in a district that had listed special land uses that are similar enough to gravel concrete or concrete crushing, in which case it would require the planning commission subcommittee to determine whether or not that is similar enough in character
Yeah.
to the permitted special land uses within the district in order for it to be considered.
I guess I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think it
I
makes
don't
sense
see
to make it more restrictive. I have no problem with
Yeah.
that. So, all right, so that, I think we're kind of in agreement with that, right, Ross? So then we go on to the next,
Yeah, okay, so I'm not gonna make any further changes to,
Well, you need to make the change for, if they have an extractive operation. So that's the only change additional with it.
if they have, what, I'm sorry.
Can you speak? If they do have an extractive operation, you just need to make that change. So they need
So
to
if
have
they-
both extractive operation and crushed concrete operation.
So you wanna make this like an ancillary use with crushing? With the mining.
Correct. Yeah.
no, I thought we
Okay.
didn't want to allow it in extractive EI.
Well, no. He was saying.
Well, they have to, in EI, they're allowed to.
Right. You want to have
Right.
both, not just one.
And under the
It
other
currently,
zone, the EI is gonna go away.
yeah, currently it stands as one,
Okay.
because you want to make it more restrictive.
Okay, got it.
You're giving that face.
No,
Me?
Yeah.
right. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, it's more restrictive.
That
is
makes it more
changing
I,
it,
well,
so
that's what we're trying
Yes.
to do.
We're trying to do is
the
make it more
crushing
restrictive.
is only in conjunction with.
With an extractive
Yeah,
operation.
And that's similar
Correct.
to the existing ordinance 19.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
Right.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna make that change, and I'll get it back to you. All right, let's move to, the lengthier document, and once again, I have to, apologize for how long this is, but, under these circumstances where a local government, may have to require or may have to allow mining, it would be very appropriate for this regulatory ordinance to be detailed and put in a lot of hoops for the applicant to jump through in order to be permitted. I won't obviously go through each and every section of the ordinance unless, I will touch on any section you'd like, but, so I'll just kind of go through what I think looks to be important and maybe is different than what exists currently, maybe in addition to what you have currently. So essentially, this ordinance would come into play once a property owner had approval for mining under Article 19. And without having an approval under Article 19, a property owner may not be issued a permit under this district. Now, conceivably, if the property owner wants to file joint applications and pay all the fees, they could run applications concurrently. I could revise this to say that they have to get approval under Article 19 first, if that's what you prefer. There are probably very few applicants that would try to do it concurrently because they'd be wasting a lot of time and money before they got approved under Article 19.
Yeah, it would seem that they should first go through Article 19 and get approval there before they can even try to put a.
Okay.
I think that's what we want to do.
Okay? No application until,
Ross, do we have any applications currently for this type of use, do we?
No further moratorium.
So, and there's nothing pending or that's been suspended? Okay.
all right, and at the bottom of the first page, and at the top of the next page, I've got a number of 3 items here where they would not need this permit in order to go forward. One would be the removal of earth materials covered by an active building permit. And so there's no reason to go through this lengthy ordinance for that. Usual and customary land balancing for if undertaken immediately planned and approved development in accordance with the ordinances. And third would be for somebody that's already got a mining permit today, which I think you have one outstanding. In definitions, I have a typo here under definitions under mining. I need to insert the word not for activity is not exempted under section 40.102. I'll make that change. So here on page 3, section 40.106, I make reference to concrete crushing, and then I also covered in section 40.110. So the next large section, it's a major section here, it deals with the submission, review, and approval of permit applications. That's section 40.107. And I go through it in really pretty significant detail, what an application, the application process. And now what I have here is I have the township board conducting a public hearing. I do make reference to the planning commission in certain instances, but would you prefer to have an application under the regulatory ordinance in addition to the zoning ordinance come to you? In other words, would you want every application for this also to come to you first?
You absolutely can. It's nothing that we've done before, but it's something that we absolutely could do.
Yeah, it should go through the planning commission.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yes.
So you want the planning commission first?
Right.
Okay. PC first. I mean, there's some sense to that, definitely, because it's so land use oriented. All right, contents of the application, I really beefed that up, so you're going to get a lot of information. A boundary survey, a topographical survey, a geological, hydrological, and engineering survey. A lot about water quality, and a lot of other things. Also a vertical aerial photograph, and what that amounts to is a photograph taken from an airplane straight down onto the property. That's why it's called vertical. And so that's going to cover a lot of things, and it's got to cover all the land proposed for mining, all the lands within a half mile, and all public and private roads, which from which access can be made to the property. Okay, and then they've got to submit a detailed site plan for their proposal, showing each type of natural resource to be extracted and the location for that, where the stockpiling is going to occur, when they grade the property so that they can uncover the area to be mined, they've got to stockpile the property. They're going to have to show you where they're going to do the stockpiling. the location of each type of processing equipment and maintenance areas, buildings, and other improvements. All the vehicle access, and I mean, you can read it, so it doesn't make any sense for me to just read it to you. But I have all these things in here, and this is the most complete regulatory ordinance I've ever drafted in my life. And so, and I did that because the township may be forced to grant a
Hold on, we
in detail.
oh, never mind.
There you go, we're back.
You're back.
We're back.
We lost you for a second,
okay.
but you're
Oh,
back.
sorry. Okay. Glad to be back.
Yes, glad to have you.
Now I have here the possibility that somebody will be approved for using explosives. And I don't know whether you're going to be compelled to do that or not, but we could just say explosives are not permitted in the township, whatever you prefer.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know why they would need them here.
Yeah,
They don't want rock or stuff like
It's gonna
that.
create some nuisance
yeah,
factors.
I don't want the neighbors thinking we're under attack.
Yeah.
That's gonna be.
Yeah, that's right.
Nuisance factors.
Okay.
One question, Mr. Fisher, I got a question for you too. Is there any type of permit that's required from the DNR or Eagle in order to get this thing going?
It depends on how much water they're going to use.
Right, that's what I thought.
Yeah, if it goes over the threshold, a certain threshold, gallons per minute or whatever it is, then they have to get a permit from the state.
Okay, should that be in here too?
Well, I require all permits. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, all approvals from outside agencies that are approved, and those that are yet to be approved. Now, I have someplace else I've referred to county, state, and federal. Maybe I should include that here as well.
Yeah, I think so.
And 7, all county, state, and federal
Yeah.
permits and approvals as
Yeah.
applicable shall be secured prior to issuance of township permit.
Yeah,
Page 8,
yeah.
17.
I was looking at,
So where is that? I'm sorry. I
Oh, it's also on number 7,
page 12.
12.
Oh, wow, okay.
And
Yeah, I knew I had it in there, but I could add federal and county, state, and federal here as well.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and this is specifically relating to water, right, in that paragraph 7. But I can put that here. There may be other situations other than water. County, state, and federal. Okay. Very good. In the contents of the permit, when I reviewed this on my own, I thought that I would add, this is on page 9, paragraph B1, this calls for the requirement for the applicant for the permit to show the person designated as the agent for all notice, correspondence, and communications. And I thought it would be good to put in here the obligation of the operator to continuously update that to the township. Okay. So I've got quite a number of things for the permit, and if there's anything else that you want in here, I'd be happy to do it. I'm happy to insert it. So then at the bottom of page 10, going over to page 11, operational requirements, hours of operation. I did not insert the starting time because there are all kinds of starting times for this kind of use. Is 7 o'clock all right?
Seems a little early.
Yeah, I was saying
8 o'clock.
I was thinking 8.
8 o'clock, okay?
I was thinking 9, but, you know, I think 8.
11 to 1.
I think 8's reasonable, I think.
Well,
seven-
Yeah.
the sun isn't up in the winter time here by then,
Right.
so. By 7, so by 8 o'clock, that's a little better.
All right,
9 would be kind of hard to justify, but 8,
I'll insert that.
But that'd be standard work day.
Oh, that's another good. Entities. Permit. Okay, on page 12, another important one is setbacks. I've bumped up the setbacks in many instances for all of the operational structures and equipment, including material sorters, crushers, conveyors, and so forth. They have to be 400 feet from any public or private right-of-way and from any adjoining residential property. 200 feet from the nearest non-residential property, and they can ask to modify that ask the township board to change it if there's a good reason for it. But these would be the distances for all of the machinery, and these crushers are unbelievable. I mean, they put the big rocks in there, and then they have this large thing that slams down on the rocks. I mean, I can't imagine that you'd want to be any closer than 400 feet.
No.
And I've got 500 feet
500.
from any lake, stream, or wetland, merely because if they're excavating and the soils are porous, a contamination or whatever could go through the soils. And in the Wetland Act, the State Wetland Act, they usually talk about a 500-foot area. If there's a wetland within 500 feet, that is included in being contiguous. So it seems 500 feet seems like it's probably defensible. So then I've got all of these other distances, and requiring the property owner to maintain the local roads where the trucks are tracking mud out onto the road. They've got to periodically keep that cleaned off up to 500 feet from the point of access of the property.
Should ask for vibration.
Mr. Fisher,
It's already
Yeah.
addressed.
recognizing that we're not allowing them to operate at night, do we need to have something in there that says about the lighting of the area there, that they're not,
Seems like we should at least have it meet our own.
Yeah.
Township.
yeah, there should be something in there that suggests that any lighting at the operation would have to meet all township ordinance requirements.
Okay, that's a good idea.
What about like landscaping, like trees and all that other stuff? Like I saw that they're talking about berms and stuff with the setbacks, but I didn't see anything about like the landscaping.
We don't wanna be able to see them from outside.
You don't see that stuff, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is in terms of impacting adjoining properties, probably, and the road right away.
Yeah,
Or
because,
say-
well, we have a, in our commercial, we have a light ordinance that you can only have so much amount of light at the property line, that, you know, from your internal lighting.
Yeah.
Big spotlights pointing out all over the place.
Right.
I mean, if the operation's only going from 8 to 6 or 8 to
but then
5.
Who knows if they're, you know, started up at, like, this
6
time.
o'clock, it's dark out at 5 sometimes.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's dark.
So for
They have
nighttime.
Security lighting or other lighting.
We'll just bring the operation down to 4 o'clock.
I think we need to have something about that.
Yeah.
To meet our lighting ordinance for any commercial type.
Yeah, as long as they have to comply with our current ordinance on there, I think that's the important piece on that.
So is this is the current ordinance, or does it relate to commercial or industrial or both?
Both.
Like
Both.
non-residential?
Yes.
Yeah, and then we have a regulatory for residential, which is totally separate. But we do have performance standards for commercial industrial lighting.
Bunch of requirements. And, okay, and performance standards, okay.
Another question I had too is, can we prohibit them from maintaining a residence there at the extractive operation?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, because technically, you can't have a residence for an industrial operation.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so no,
Reason for that, Kurt? I mean, just you don't want somebody.
I want somebody living there.
no use of structures for residential purposes during the mining operation. We're doing the period of the mining operation. Okay?
So on page 14, number 16 on it, it talks about noise and vibration. And on there, I thought that we just discussed the ban of the use of explosives.
Yeah.
But it's mentioned there.
Oh, yeah.
It does say to the extent approved by this permit, and the extent would mean nothing.
You will, right, but it's say, let's just take it
Yeah,
out
I'll take-
Can we
altogether.
just take that out? and
Take it out
document
altogether.
I sure can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate you finding, that was a good find. Okay, inactive site. And I've got, if the site is inactive for a year, it's considered an abandonment. And, the property owner can ask the board within the year to extend the time. I think that's fair. Okay, and then 4110 deals with the concrete crushing, if approved as a special land use under zoning ordinance 17 as an accessory use to mining. And I think this is very similar. I put a few more technical requirements in here, but I think this is basically similar to what you have now and had in Article 19, or have in Article 19 before the amendment that we're doing. So they have to keep a log and make sure that the concrete crushing is less than half of the total operation, so that they don't all of a sudden become a concrete crushing and do mining occasionally. And I also, because obviously if you have concrete crushing, there'll be a lot of trucks coming and going. I require that the application for mining and concrete crushing, the applications have to be submitted concurrently. And if they want to bring concrete crushing in later, they've got to file a whole new mining application or a whole new application under this mining regulation too, because you won't have any control over the trucks unless you approve them all at the same time.
Right.
And the haul routes and all that. Okay, and then performance bonds and whatnot. That's all not that unusual. All pretty standard from the way I've drafted things. And then I want to put in here that the amount of the bond should be adjusted every other year. I have an every other year performance report that's going to be on page starting on 17, and it would be good to review the amount of the performance bond every 2 years, because you're going to want to know how much it's going to cost to do the reclamation, and you won't know that until the operation continues, and you know what kind of a problem or mess that they've created, and so I'll put in there that the amount of the bond will be reviewed as part of the biennial performance report.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and this biennial report is basically to try to keep the operator in conformance with your ordinance, to avoid the whole operation going out of control. You know, I mean, I was involved in one situation years ago where somebody had a straight vertical face that was like 90 feet down. I mean, how do you reclaim that?
You don't.
You don't, exactly. So, you know, and you can't get to that point in just 1 or 2 years. So keeping an eye on it every other year is probably a good thing.
Hey, real quick, I don't know if you've noticed on, and sorry for kind of bouncing here a little bit, but on page 9, there's a misspelling of Ariel.
Oh,
In 2 different spots, so I just want to make sure you're aware of that.
did I spell it the same both places?
Yes,
Well, that's consistency then.
at least it's consistency. Then you have 5 other places where you spelled it correctly, so.
Page 9, okay, let's see. Okay.
Sorry for tearing this apart and getting us off topic.
No, thank you, I appreciate it. We just make me look foolish.
No,
No.
that's not my intent, no.
Not hard.
No, I don't know. I mean,
Not hardly.
If it was passed this way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there are just a couple of little things in here that I'll add. So the reclamation requirements start on page 19, and the paragraph 2 of the reclamation plan, I'm going to strike that because I refer to that contour map also in what was page 5 or paragraph 5. So there's no reason to duplicate that. So I've got a lot of things in here for reclamation. And fees, starting on page 20 over to 21. So they're going to pay an application fee, an annual fee that'll be held in escrow, used to pay consultants for monitoring, reporting, and reclamation. Then a biennial review fee, and any monies that they pay that aren't used would be returned. And then violations. I have made this, and it's up to you to make it a criminal offense or civil infraction. But I've got it as a civil infraction. First offense $500, second offense $1,000. And the really positive part of civil infraction is that you don't need to go to the circuit court all the time. A district judge, if there's a violation, a district judge, which is a much more expedited case and much less costly for the township, a circuit judge or a district judge now has equitable power. So the district judge can make an order telling them to comply in certain ways. So civil infraction, to me, makes a lot of sense for this.
I agree with that, but I don't think 500 for the first offense and 1,000 for the second is nearly enough.
Not even close.
I was thinking off the top of my head,
Like
like 2,000 for the first and 10,000.
10,000 for the second.
Something that's gonna really get their attention. Cause if
Okay.
it's 500 or 1,000, they'll just be like, whatever, we'll just pay it.
Yeah, you see contractors doing that.
Yeah, it's like,
Look
that's
at
just
his
cost of
damages,
business.
I'd even go even higher than that. Like
So it's
really make-
2,000 and 10,000,
Well,
right?
what is,
Yeah, what's the average?
within the reasonableness, so we're not,
Yeah, how punitive can we be?
Well, you know what it is, really? It's whatever the district judge will do. And, if the district judge doesn't like this, they'll tell you that. And
What have you seen?
I've seen 500 and 1,000, so.
that's not, yeah, I think we need to go higher than that.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fine to go higher than that.
I'd say 2 and 10.
2 and 10.
2
2 and 10,
Or 5
okay.
and 10. 5 and 10.
Yeah, I mean, if the
5,000
district judge,
Why not?
if the district judge doesn't like it, he'll tell you. He won't enforce it. He doesn't have to.
2 and 10 then.
What do you think, John? I mean, so if it's a mistake, it's 2,000. You do it twice, you get wrapped on the knuckles pretty.
Yeah.
And it's each day.
What, per day?
Yeah,
Oh, it's per day?
Yeah, look, on
It's a separate-
each active violation and on each
missed
day.
that.
a pound.
Oh, yeah, you're
I
right.
didn't read that far down, okay.
Yeah, I've got that in here.
Up to 30 days, so $30,000.
So they can't just work for a year under violation and pay $1,000. That's gonna be.
Right. Oh, right.
5,000.
Right,
Oh, it's a per diem.
yeah. It's a separate.
I'd still like it to be higher. Just to bring it to their attention.
But if it's a per day thing, I mean, you can easily, 2 days and next thing you know, you're
Maybe
at
just double what he had,
$2,000.
1,000.
All right, just double what you have then,
Yeah.
please.
So what did you mean 1,000 and 2,000?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. 1,000. 2,000. Okay. Fair enough. All right, so that's this one, and based upon the comments that were made at our last meeting, I added some language in the Article 9 relating to impact on water.
Good. That's important for us.
Yeah. So, I appreciate the feedback on this, and that they're all good comments. So I can make these changes and get it back to you.
What do we want to do?
What, I have one more question. Is there
Yeah.
anything in the document that protects us in the event of a change of ownership? Say they sell out, that this is, a contingent on the current ownership, and in the event of a sale or change in ownership that,
Like a successors or assigns?
yeah, something that,
So is your concern if they're in violation, you want the original person to be liable?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, I can put that in for sure. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't want somebody to escape just because they sold it to their kid or something.
Yeah. Transfer of ownership. Owner at time of violation will remain liable.
I'm trying to tie this as tight as we can.
Sure.
That's great. I've never heard that one before. That's good.
Good one, Chris.
Ross, how long are we under moratorium until?
I will need to double check that one. I know
Come on, Tom.
We've got some months.
We got a workshop, I mean, we have a workshop next Wednesday, do you think you could have these related to us, so we can do the workshop next Wednesday?
Yeah,
We do that?
Then we can just keep this thing moving.
Yep.
that sounds good.
All right.
So Lance.
Great. I'll get it done and over to Ross.
Plus, it's screening, could be berm or topsoil. This type of screening.
All right.
Oh, you're right, there's that, okay. I missed that one. I looked through it.
Very good job.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks
Thank
a lot.
you very much.
Very thorough.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, so I'll get this over to you, and it's been nice working with you.
It has indeed.
Very educational.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay,
Have a nice
thank
evening.
you.
Talks about berms.
Thank you.
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, so, since we have something actually, if you can get this to us, Ross.
Oh, yeah, we can hold a workshop and discuss that
Workshop
topic.
and kind of wrap it up.
Yeah. And then if we're okay at the workshop, we can't take the final.
I know we gotta wait, but at least.
But
we
you can tell me to schedule the public hearing for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Assuming that I have enough time, but should be.
It just uses berms as like a site barrier. And not like actual trees, that was my point.
Wow.
You see what I was talking about now?
Yeah, but it says where there's a lack of screening.
But there's a lack of screening, right?
All right, so that basically wraps up old business. Right, Ross?
Yep.
We're kind of done with that. And new business, the only item we have under new business is the minor amendment to the Irish Hills, which I think we've all seen already and have commented on. So what do we
I'd like a summary of that one, just to, if they could provide it.
of this one?
Yeah, like, what's that, they're just trying to buy the adjacent property?
No, they're trying to align it this,
That's what I mean, I just.
yeah, they're.
So, Ron Gordon, who owns it, who actually did the PUD development to begin with,
Behind
he
it.
did own the Fenton Trading Post, the trailer sales aspect.
All right.
That aspect of the PUD.
Oh, that was in the PUD?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's why
part of the
I haven't seen the
Yep.
approval of the PUD, that was a long time ago,
Yeah,
so.
long time ago.
That's why I
It was
just
a
asked
mixed-use
for-
PUD. Basically, there's a
Okay.
barn that's
Yeah.
associated with the commercial element of the PUD. And since he has sold that business, he would like to move that barn to his residential
Yeah.
portion of the PUD.
Attached.
Okay, so is the, trailer sales still gonna be in the PUD?
It is still within the PUD.
Okay, but they're
It's
just
allowed-
separate?
Correct. They're just trying to separate, they're reducing the size of the commercial just by, well, this pole barn, which is.
0.56.
Yep.
This way.
And just attaching it onto the adjacent residential property, which he already owns.
Understood.
So for, this is just like what we've done in the past for other amendments to site plans. The PC subcommittee determined that's a minor change, so this could be a planning commission approval to allow for this to happen. If you do approve this, that allows us to do a boundary alignment, and that takes care of the PUD aspect of it. Because it is a site condominium, there will need to be changes to the site condo documents to kind of clean everything up, but that can come at a later date. Basically, this is the next step that is necessary in order for us to consider a boundary alignment so that he can add the barn onto his residential property. We do have Mr. Gordon here. If you do have any questions specifically, he may be able to answer those, but it's a pretty straightforward request.
Yeah.
There's a few layers of complexity just because it is a site condo / PUD, but this is an amendment like any other at this point, so minor change.
And the subcommittee, I believe it, everyone thought it should be.
Oh, yeah, this was
Yeah.
determined to be a minor.
Minor
change.
amendment, it's just,
So the, email from the Irish Hills Board,
Yeah,
they have no complaints about it?
nope, the association has no issues, again. as
They just
part
want
of
the
this-
fees?
Yeah, in order for everything to
378.
go through and ultimately be finalized, they will need to amend the condo documents, but that comes later. This is the first step.
so you need a motion from us to approve or what?
Yeah, it would be an approval at this point, so we need a motion.
We can approve the,
Yeah,
The planning commission can as a
We
minor.
can approve, we
Okay.
don't need to recommend approval, we can approve.
all right.
Correct. If it was major, then it would need to go to the township board, but as a minor change, the planning commission can approve. We would basically then just take the site plan or exhibit to the site plan that's been provided, add it on file, and it's done.
I'd make a motion to approve the minor amendment to the Irish Hills PUD
I'll
as
support.
presented.
I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion and support.
Support.
Kevin?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time. All right. To the call to public already, Ross? All right. Moving along very well tonight. Second call to the public. Anything you want to bring up? Nothing? All right, the miscellaneous business. We have something to talk about at our workshop next Wednesday. So,
If we get it in time.
well, we're hoping we will, but this guy's on it. I bet you we'll have it by tomorrow morning.
We probably will. I think we'll
Every time we talk, we get emails like the next morning at
That's
8
amazing.
o'clock.
At some point, maybe we should go back and go over our list of
Yeah.
action items. We've kind of
Got to wait.
started on some things, and it seems like now there's room to
Got some time.
get back to those with, basically with the renewable energy out of our core.
The maps out.
Yeah,
The other piece is too, we haven't had McKenna show up at a meeting yet, and they're the new planner.
understood, but I'm thinking things that we can think through on our own. You know, we've been tasked with thinking about sightlines,
Sidelines, there's the signs
sign
ordinance.
ordinance, there's,
I'll put together a rough list that we can.
yeah, just at least start with the list
Yeah.
at a workshop.
There's pending.
We're not making action, we're just talking about
Because
it.
it shouldn't be
And we
that-
can prioritize that list at the time.
Because
That's what we want to do now.
Yeah, we
the
just prioritize.
extractive ordinance next Wednesday should be kind of just verifying the changes. So that shouldn't take very long.
Caregiver operations, medical marijuana.
There's-
That is a big issue.
We've definitely
every
got
time.
the marijuana, we've got accessory structure standards, we've got accessory dwelling units, we've
Yeah.
got those other items that were listed. I'll just put together a rough list and we can kind of go through
Go
those
through
topics one by one and
That'd be a good
prioritize.
event or
Good idea, Ross. Good idea, guys.
And I imagine maybe with the new board coming in, we'll have another joint meeting at some point, who knows?
We absolutely should.
And then that can give us more of the priority, but at least we have the list
Yeah,
there.
if we
'Cause
sit
some of
down
those-
at the workshop and we discuss the items and, hey,
Yeah.
this is where the planning commission's at, then we have a basis for a discussion. at a
Yeah.
joint meeting.
6 o'clock, not 7,
Correct?
next Wednesday.
I move we adjourn.
We don't need support, so we're done, right?
You can say it's over.
It's over. Nothing's over till we say it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
Goodness.
All right, we're done. Thank you, everyone.
Did everybody sign off on their
Yes. Yep. You signed it.
percentage sheet?
Get your $80 in, Kevin.
Hey, man, that's good. I'll get that over to Ross.
He is so good.
I gotta
Pages and pages.
throw it in the can.
He's incredible. I'll tell you, my whole time here, almost 9 years, I've never had turned around that quick.
That guy, yeah, he's something else.
He's
The first
good.
meeting we had, the next morning, I was like, 8 o'clock, and I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I go home and I think about it, I'm just like doing it. It's like,
You're
wow.
tired.
Yeah, we got a spreadsheet somewhere with all